What's going on, everybody? I'm D. Ellis, and welcome y'all back to another episode of Crime Circuit. And for this video, we're gonna be covering Robert Yummy Sandifer. Um, Before we get into the video, it's gonna be a couple disclaimers. If you guys are sensitive to murder, child abuse, things of that nature, then I suggest you click out, and hopefully I'll see you in another video. All right, let's get into the video. Robert Sandifer was born in Chicago, Illinois on March 12, 1983. Sandifer's mother, Lorena Sandifer, had over 30 arrests while prostituting, many of which were drug-related. Sandifer's father, Robert Atkins, was absent throughout Sandifer's life due to incarceration for a felony gun charge. Sandifer was physically abused from the time he was an infant. Before he was 3 years old, Sandifer was already known to the Department of Children and Family Services, also known as DCFS. Physical examinations showed that Sandifer was allegedly to have had cigarette burns on his arms and neck, while as linear bruising consistent with physical beatings. His mother, Lorena, intentionally blamed the abuse on Sandifer's father, although she was later recanted. In 1987, Sandifer and his siblings were removed from his mother's home by DCFS and were sent to live with their grandmother in the Roseland neighborhood of Chicago. His grandmother's residence contained as many as 19 children on some occasions. By most accounts, his grandmother's home was not much better than Sandifer's previous home. Sandifer, by the age of 8, quit attending school and began to roam the streets, stealing cars and breaking into houses. At the age of 10, Sandifer was arrested on charges of armed robbery. A psychological examiner at the time reported that Robert is a child growing up without any encouragement and support, and that he has a sense of failure and has infiltrated almost every aspect of his inner self. Now, in 1993, Sandifer and his siblings were removed from his grandmother's home and were sent to Lawrence Hall, DCFS shelter on Chicago's north side, from which Sandifer ran away and which never returned. From 1993 until his death, Sandifer's whereabouts were living arrangements and will pretty much remain unclear. Although he continued to be arrested by authorities, he pretty much was homeless. Now, guys, we're going to get into the murder of Siobhan Dean. On August 28, 1994, Sandifer was ordered to do a favor for his gang. He opened fire several times with a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, striking several youths. Sandifer quickly fled the scene. Among his victims was a 14-year-old girl, Siobhan Dean, who was fatally hit by a stray bullet. After the shooting, the police were looking for Sandifer, who was hiding with gang members in the neighborhood. On August 31st, while standing on the neighborhood porch, after asking to call for his grandmother to come pick him up, Sandifer was met by brothers Craig and Derek Hardaway, ages 16 and 14, who were both members of the Black Disciples street gang. Sandifer was told he was being taken to a safe location out of town and ordered into the car that they had jumped out of, basically assuming that they were going to take him to a safe place where he would be all right, be able to hide. But instead, he was taken to a railroad underpass on the East 108th Street and South Dauphin Avenue, and he was told to get on his knees. Now, while kneeling, Sandifer was shot twice in the back of his head by the Hardaway brothers. Sandifer's body was discovered by the Chicago PD in the early morning of September 1st. Around 400 people attended Sandifer's funeral, which was actually held at the Youth Center Church of God in Christ on Chicago's northwest side. The Hardaway brothers were later convicted of the Sandifer murder. Now, Derek received a 45-year sentence and Craig received a 60-year sentence. Derek was released from prison in December of 2016. Craig was released from prison in December of 2020. And this story is it's crazy because the ages of these kids, man, it's just, you know, to think about, it's pretty much like he never had a shot in life to do anything good. Like he was set for failure from the ones that was supposed to lead him and protect him, you know. And he ended up taking the life of an innocent young girl, Siobhan Dean. Condolences to her family, and you know, RIP to her, you know. It's sad, man. And the people that, you know, told him to go do it, or his gang or whatever, you know, and then he did what he did, tried to call for a ride to get to his grandma's house. They told him, oh, you know, we got you. Next thing you know, they thought he was going to be an informant, so shot him in the back of the head. It's a sad situation, man. But I'm D. Ellis. I appreciate y'all for checking my video out. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Hopefully I'll see y'all in another one. All right, peace.
You knew Siobhan, yeah?
She's my niece.
She's your niece? What's your name, man?
Ida Falls.
What was she like?
What was Siobhan like? She was a very cheerful young lady, beautiful, outgoing. She was a good girl.
He was?
Hey, man, he was a little kid.
He was a kid?
Yeah.
When you say how old was he?
He was 11.
11. What was he like when he was a little kid?
He was a sweet little kid. He wasn't violent, and he wasn't bad. The way they talking about now, that's not true. It's not true.
Like when you say...
Every time somebody says something, they change it around.